Hi, welcome to another edition of Propaganda Busters. Let me tell you a little bit of a story. There was an 8-year-old girl in the state of Louisiana. She was in her garage sorting out Girl Scout cookies. And while she was doing this monster, a human being, enters the garage and he rapes this 8-year-old girl, depriving her of her constitutional right of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So he goes to court and a jury of 12 people convict him and sentence him to death. Because in the state of Louisiana, there was a law that if you rape somebody under 12, you can be put to death. Well, now the case goes all the way to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court says, no, you can't. You can't put this guy to death because the crime that he committed did not result in someone else losing their life. Oh, really? Well, let me tell you something. But let's put on our constitutional hats. Back in 1787, when the 55 delegates met in Philadelphia to write the Constitution at the Constitutional Convention, in the 8th Amendment, they put in the clause against cruel and unusual punishment. And here's why they put that in. Because prior to it being the 13 states, it was the 13 colonies. Now look at some of the crimes and punishments that took place in the 13 colonies. And here are some other forms of punishments in the 13 colonies. Now, when those 55 delegates put the cruel and unusual clause in the Constitution, they went on to become governors and mayors and legislatures and lawyers. They participated in the government, as well as the people throughout the 13 states who ratified the Constitution went on to become lawyers and legislatures, etc., participating in the government of these United States. And now, from 1787 to 1800, now look at the crimes in the 13 states that if you committed these, you were put to death after this Constitutional Convention. Meaning that our founding fathers implemented capital punishment for committing those crimes. And in those crimes, nobody lost their lives. You just committed the crime and you lost your life. And as far as our founding fathers were concerned, that wasn't cruel and unusual. So, folks, it's time once again to grab the pitchfork. We have to run the bums out of Washington. You know, in this Constitution, we have 3 branches of government which are supposed to be equal. And it's called checks and balances, and it's supposed to be equal in power. You have the executive, which is the presidency. You have the legislature, which is the Congress, and you have the judiciary, which is the Supreme Court. If you don't like the president, you can vote him out. If you don't like the Congress, you can vote them out. If you don't like the Supreme Court, you're stuck, because they're in there for life. But the Congress can hold hearings onto the affairs of the judiciary, but they do not. Instead, they hold hearings on steroid use in baseball. Where is that in the Constitution? Instead, they held a book report, hearings on a book report, on a book by this guy named Scott McCullough. Where is that in the Constitution to have book reports in the Congress? This Congress is worthless, folks. That's why we need to rise up and throw them out. Now listen to me. When I raise my pitchfork, when I raise my rifle, and I raise my pistol, those are all metaphors. No violence, please, because we're not going to get anywhere. They're metaphors for urging you to go to the ballot box and vote every one of them out. Yeah! That's the only way we're going to get this republic back. And remember, we need to march on Washington. We need to chase those bums into the Potomac and clear out Washington, D.C. Yeah! Hey, folks, God bless you. God bless America. And God bless the nation you happen to be in.